Hey guys, David here. Welcome to Digital Outlook, where you're going to find the best community in all of crypto. In today's video, we've got the Hinman emails back in the spotlight. And guys, this is a make it or break it moment. So without further ado, why don't we get to it? Now guys, before we begin the video, would you do us a huge favor and smash that like button so that this video gets pumped out there to that entire YouTube world and more people get helped by the information that's in it. Thank you so much. Now, guys, I think something that all of us are going to be able to agree on with respect to this Ripple versus the SEC case is the fact that it has dragged on and on and on, and it has literally got to the point of ridiculous. We have seen some of the worst mudslinging that you could possibly ever see in any kind of a civil case whatsoever. And in fact, it got so bad at one point that the SEC was fighting to keep you and I, the retail investor, out of the case, the very people that they were actually purporting to protect. Remember, they said that we had Ripple to defend our case. And we're like, hold on a second here. Aren't you guys taking Ripple to court and suing them over the fact that you think that they issued a security, unregistered security, to protect us as the retail investor? Come on, it was just getting absolutely obscene. Now, one of the major issues that we all know about that this case has hinged on has been these Hinman emails. And you almost have to think about it in a really different way. Imagine the tens of millions of dollars that have literally been spent fighting over these Hinman emails with respect to this case. I mean, Ripple themselves have come out and said, hey, we've already spent over $100 million in this case. And you know that the SEC on the government side has spent at least that much with all the bureaucrats and everything else. Well, guys, I'm sure it's into the deca millions when you consider all of the legal time, the hours, the applications, the judgments, and on over these Hinman emails. So you would think that the whole issue would be put to bed, but guys, it has not gone to bed. It's right back there front and center. Here we have a situation where the SEC did not want to be able to give those things over to Ripple because they said, hey, those are protected speech. But then they turned around and when they were actually cross-examined on the whole issue said, oh, well, wait a second, that was his opinion. And then they flip-flopped on that. They said, oh, no, it wasn't just Bill Hinman's opinion. It was actually the policy of the enforcement division of the SEC. And it was just a ping-pong gong show. Now, Judge Torres finally made a ruling back a little bit and said, hey, you are going to cough those up to Ripple. So the big issue has been this. Are the public ever going to get to see those documents? Well, guys, just take a look right here at what's going on now. Well, right now, there is a big fight between the SEC and Ripple whether or not those Hinman emails are going to actually get delivered to us, the public. Just take a look at this title. The court to enforce SEC to disclose Hinman emails publicly, and Ripple filed a motion. So here it comes down. The infamous Hinman speech-related documents and emails have been one of the most talked about topics in the long-running U.S. SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. The commission has lost all of its assertions over the documents till now. However, the SEC is still trying to protect the memos from being released publicly. Guys, you have to wonder, what on earth could possibly be in there when it comes to someone giving a piece of advice to somebody else who is apparently delivering their personal opinion in giving a speech? I mean, you can't even imagine what must have gone on through this because look, guys, we're not talking about internal debates or council meetings and all this kind of stuff. We're talking about some emails that were delivered over to Bill Hinman to give him advice on the speech. Who were sending those emails? Who inside the SEC got them? And what was their advice? And guys, who outside the SEC was getting those emails and what was their addition to it. And I think, guys, it is amazingly telling because the SEC is fighting tooth and nail to keep those sealed up and away from our eyes. Now, the XRP lawsuit is moving forward and we're getting really close to this summary judgment. And with this impending dispute on the Hinman emails, that has to be decided before summary judgment is going to come out. Now, Ripple, in its latest filings, according to this article, mentioned that these disputed speech documents are judicial documents. That means, guys, that they need to be released to the public, unredacted, along with all the other information that is out there. Now, Ripple and the defendants highlighted that these memos are relevant to the court's consideration of the parties' summary judgment motions. While the SEC has not been able to overcome the strong presumptions of public access. The SEC has lost its assertions over the Hinman speech documents about 6 times already in the XRP lawsuit. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. They have fought this thing over and over and over, and decision after decision after decision has been ruled against them. And we're talking huge amounts of money and legal fees that have been applied to this fight. So now just let's take a look. So after receiving backlashes from the court, remember the court actually rebuked the FCC from trying to play around with the law and have their Kate and Edith too. The commission finally surrendered the disputed memos to Ripple and the defendants. Meanwhile, it doesn't want them going public. The court filing reveals that the defendant wants the judge to reject the SEC's request to seal the Hinman speech documents. Ripple has heavily relied on these memos in their briefs in order to support their summary judgment motions, and Ripple added that the court's suggestions that the Hinman memos may only narrowly admissibly in the trial was based on an incomplete record. Why? Because at the time, guys, when they got them, they didn't have the complete amount of time to review them to see exactly what was in there and how it might actually support their case. And that's what it's saying here. At the time, they didn't have reviewed the documents in order to develop or set forth their arguments which carry potential relevance to the SEC claim. However, the court now holds the advantage of Ripple and the defendants reviewing the documents and picking out considerable relevance of statements mentioned in the disputed memos. Guys, this is absolutely massive. And why is this a make it or break it issue? Because, guys, I think if the court orders that the SEC has to give those to Ripple and they have to be released to the public, I think that we could see some major shifts in this case. It could lead to an immediate settlement, or it could completely destroy the SEC's ability not only to win here with Ripple, but to go after any other digital asset in this space because of what's in those referrals and those Hinman emails. Now, let's just take a look over here. So Ripple's asking the court to deny the SEC's motion to seal those documents. Now, here's a little bit of a timeline. So in December of 2022, just last month there, the SEC had asked the court to keep the controversial Hinman speech undisclosed. Now, of course, Ripple's saying, hey, look, wait a second here. These are actual court documents, and as judicial documents, they should be released. In a filing of Ripple's response, the crypto firm has asked the court to deny the U.S. SEC's motion to seal the controversial documents. The response came after the SEC filed its omnibus motion in December of 2022. Now, the SEC had argued that they were protected by attorney-client privilege and that bringing the disputable documents out in the public would affect the openness of SEC policy deliberations. Guys, I thought that these were Hinman's opinions. Then, of course, we saw the flip-flop. There's something in there they absolutely do not want us to see. I genuinely believe that, because if there was no threat there, they would not be going so hard at this. I mean, consider the fact, 6 rejections by the court already, and now that it's actually getting to summary judgment, they're saying, hey, okay, we had to give them the Ripple, but seal them up. Don't let the public see this. Guys, that says a lot to me. The Hinman speech documents are emails and other SEC statements related to the draft of Bill Hinman's contentious 2018 speech. I mean, we're talking about a speech, guys. We're not talking about the formulation of an absolute policy. But remember, this speech that Hinman gave acted like a policy and literally gave Ethereum a free pass. Now, Ethereum, if there was anything that was an ICO, it was Ethereum's release. Remember all the disguised whales and all that kind of stuff? Guys, I think there's a whole lot more behind this. In the speech, the former SEC Director of Corporate Finance had openly claimed that Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities. Ripple said that SEC suggesting the Hinman speech documents were not judicial documents is correct, and further added that defendant relied on these documents in their briefs in support of their summary judgment arguments, meaning that they may have the tendency to influence the court's decision on the summary judgment motions. Ripple also acknowledged that Judge Annalisa Torres had initially claimed that the documents might be invalid, but the judge's views were based on an incomplete record. At the time, Ripple had not reviewed the documents to form their arguments. That is very fundamental, guys. A big deal there about how relevant the documents could be with respect to the relevance of the SEC's claims. Despite not being considered in the court's summary judgment decision, Ripple said the documents are judicial documents. Thus, they must not be sealed unless the reasons are convincing enough. Recently, the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, says he's cautiously optimistic about a breakthrough for crypto regulation 2023. Guys, what's going on here is just absolutely insane. You know, and I know that the SEC would not be putting up such a ridiculous fight if there was not something in those emails worth seeing, and that they want to keep out of the public eye in a big, big way. I mean, who does it expose? What kind of nefarious stuff has been going on behind closed doors? Who outside of the SEC actually contributed to the Hinman speech that may have a humongous conflict of interest? They don't want us to know what's in there, and they are doing everything they can to prevent it. Now, I'll tell you what, if the court actually comes out and does what they're talking about right in here, if the court actually comes out and they force the SEC to release those documents publicly, guys, I think it's going to send this case into a major whirlspin, and in fact we could see almost an immediate settlement before they actually get out there. That is how desperately the SEC does not want these documents to be shown. It is a major deal. Don't kid yourself. And this late in the game, again, after 6 decisions, it is truly crazy, but it's something, guys, that you and I want to be aware of, because as we know, if this thing gets settled long before summary judgment. Now look, a lot of folks are calling that the summary judgment could happen back like further on, maybe towards the end of March. But if the court comes back and makes this decision before they release their summary judgment, I think we could see a settlement happen a lot quicker than what we actually expect. Now, guys, who knows? This has been one of the, this has been one of the most major soap operas in this digital asset space for over the last couple of years. Now, remember, with this lawsuit on it, Ripple's price has been so compressed that it is ready to absolutely explode. And just yesterday in our video there, we had brought out that xrpitsgameover had said, hey, look, you're looking for a takeoff when XRP is going to take off. And he was spouting off, said, hey, by July 1st is going to take off. Well, guys, he has doubled down. Just take a look over here at this title right here. Prominent analyst predicts $80 price target over the next bull run for XRP. xrpitsgameover has followed up on his prediction of the next XRP bull run with a prediction of the price target of the said bull run. Guys, I'm telling you what, if this guy's correct and we see a massive blow off top come July and the price of XRP skyrockets to $80, come on, that is going to be insane, especially when you're looking at a price right now of around 35 cents. Now, nobody has a crystal ball, but these are the guys that spend hours and hours and hours looking at charts, looking at fractals, looking at retracements, looking at all of those Elliott wave theories, and you name it. And they're the ones that are willing to put their names out there and put it on the line and say, hey, look, this is what could happen. Now, imagine if it doesn't happen, this guy's going to have some serious egg in his face. He's willing to bet his reputation that this is what's going to take place. But either way, guys, come on. We have seen that XRP was practically shut out of the North American marketplace in that last bull run. And even under that bull run, it went from 17.48 cents in December of 2020 up to $1.97 by April of 2021. That is an 1,100% return. What do you think is going to happen in this next bull run when XRP has got the clarity that it needs and is actually the only digital asset with legal clarity? Guys, in my view, it is going to absolutely explode. It will be monumental. Now, that's truly what I believe. Now, guys, we have continued with our coaching program into 2023, and that is where you and I can meet personally one-on-one for 1 hour over Zoom, where we can help you with your exit strategy. We can take a look at your portfolio. We can even get your assets off an exchange and onto a hardware wallet, along with giving you some amazing techniques that will really help you in this space. The cost is $250, and if that's something that interests you, you write me right there at coaching@thedigital.outlook.com and we'll get you all booked in. Now, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed today's video, but I want to invite you to actually join the conversation and drop your comments down there in the comment section. Open it up to the community and start a discussion. Now, as you know, guys, I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice, but if you found value in it, if you'd hit that like and subscribe, I would appreciate it. And hey, don't forget to hit that notification bell down there so that you don't miss out on any of the videos that we're uploading. And if you're one of the thousands of folks who have been watching these videos but you haven't yet subscribed, would you do the channel a favor and join this community? We would really love to have you on board. So in the meantime and in between time, stay safe, be blessed, and I'll catch you in the next one.